Nat 20. Hi folks, Merlin here, bringing you another Dungeons & Dragons adventurer video. So, back at you with a brand new issue, and yeah, we're continuing on from issue 16, which was quite a nice bit of information to cover for the DM side of things. So, we are continuing that with issue 17. In the issue then, we learn about the brand new class, the Druid. We learn about Displacer Beasts, and we also learn about buying and selling magic items. There's also a page about how to weave your scenes together for the DM, which is pretty nice if you're having your party split into two, which is pretty handy. And of course, we have our new and exclusive adventure. So, issue 17, of course, comes with a fantastic little gift, and it's a rather kind of cute one. Nice set of clear blue dice with little axes on the inside. So, yeah, perfect for if you want to axe a guy a few questions. Yeah, that's bad. But yeah, fun little set if you axe me. Okay, I'll stop. So yeah, before we jump over the table, don't forget to, of course, do all the usual. Like this video if you are enjoying the content. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. We've just hit 500, so big thank you to everyone who has joined me so far on the channel. It's been great, and yeah, got plenty more to plan. Let's hope we can push forward. I think my next target, I'm just going to be... I don't want to push too big. I'd like to get to 1,000 at some point, but I'm thinking... if we can get to maybe 250 by the end of the 750 by the end of the year, that would be nice. Pushing it, I know, but again, would be nice. The channel's growing more and more every day, and I really do appreciate all the support. Speaking of support, you can support me on Patreon. There's a link in the video description down below. And as of March the 1st, I'm going to start putting a lot of my videos straight up to Patreon for first view chances for everyone who has signed up there. So yeah, this will be available to everyone from the lowest tier up to the highest. There's only the 3 tiers. I'm keeping things small at the moment. I might expand later on. So yeah, with that said, let's jump over the table and we'll take a look at issue 17. So here we are with our latest issue of Dungeons & Dragons Adventurer, and yeah, pretty cool. The one thing I forgot to mention on the introduction was on the back we do have a brand new character sheet, so I'll tear that off and we'll take a close look at that after we've looked at the dice. So yeah, we got a brand new elf character, Zugan Shanoni, a wood elf druid there, which is pretty cool. Yeah, nice new character for us to try out in our adventures. We do only get the level 2 character sheet. If you want to make a level 1 druid, you will have to use D&D Beyond. I do kind of wish we had the first level. I mean, it covers the first level abilities, which we will need to know anyway for level 2, but I do wish they did include the level 1 character sheet. It would have been nice. But yeah, maybe it's a save costs. I know they're going to be printing a lot of character sheets in the near future as we level up soon. I think once we get to about 26, 27, we level up again to level 3. So yeah, we got quite a few new character sheets to be adding to our collection. So yeah, we'll take a look at that in just a sec. But first off, we'll have a look at our brand new dice. So here we are with our latest set of dice, and we'll get them out to have a look at because they are actually pretty cool. So as you can see, we have a little double-headed axe on the inside, and yeah, pretty cool. It's a lot clearer on some angles than it is others. Yeah, Perfect for our axe wielding characters. Yeah, really fun. So let's give these a customary roll. And we've got, wow, 1, 14, 1, 7, 3, 50, and 2. Not the, that's not been too bad. I mean, high end on some, low end on others. But, yeah. Let me see that lovely little axe again. Pretty cool. Alright, let's see how their second roll does. Maybe we've worn off the bad luck on some of the dice. Okay, no, we haven't. We've gone worse on the D20. We got a 5. Most of the other results, though, have improved. 60, 5, 8, 5, 4, and 3. So, yeah, not been too bad. Like I said, fun little set. Perfect for axe-wielding characters or anyone who just wants to axe the guy at the bar a few questions, you know. Charisma check, I fail. Okay, that's not good. He takes the axe and embeds it in my own skull. So, yeah, there we have that. Right, let's take a look at our brand new character sheet before we dive into the issue. So, here we have our brand new character, Zagan Shanoni, a Wood Elf Druid with the Hermit background. They are level 2. And as it mentions here, this is the second level. To create a level 1, visit D&D Beyond. So they are starting to push us more and more to using the website. As I've said before, I would like it if we had digital versions of the magazine and character sheets and stuff. That would have been a fun little inclusion and would probably make the price a little more valued worth. Yeah, it is what it is. So yeah, let's take a look at Zagan's character sheet. So she has an armor class of 15 plus 2 initiative, 35 foot of speed as she's an elf. So it has hit points of 19, damage, hit dice of 1d8 and rolls 2. Has a scimitar and a thorn whip as the weapons. Only has 5 gold pieces and comes with our normal equipment here. So a bedroll blanket, common clothes, rope, herbalism kit, leather armor, a mess kit, 10 days of rations, a scimitar, tinderbox with 10 torches, water skin and a shield. So we've got proficiencies and languages there. So quite a few. Personality traits as well. We've got our usual saving throws and our skill modifiers, so quite a few. Proficient with +5 in animal handling, medicine and perception, +4 on nature and religion. We've actually got some minus modifiers, which is pretty cool. So she's not the best at persuasion, performance, intimidation, or even deception. So yeah, pretty cool. A nice, well-balanced sort of character, which is pretty cool. So got some good bits and some not so good bits, which is pretty cool. Then we have features and traits. So as an elf, they have dark vision. She can have a wild shape, which is a druid ability. Mask of the wild, another druid ability. She's a spellcaster, so she starts at has a level 1 slot, chooses 5 of the druid spells. Has nature recovery, Fey ancestry, and has the trance ability. Then flipping over. So she is 154 years old, 5 foot 5 inches, 130 pounds. Has light brown skin tone, brown hair, and black eyes. And there we see the character herself. And yet we will be getting a figure most likely in a future issue, which will be quite cool. So spell DC save of 13, passive ability is wisdom, class is druid, and +5 on attacks for spells. So we have Druidcraft as her first cantrip there, with infestation and thorn whip as well. Then we got different first level spells, so she has 3 spell slots, and we got all the different druid spells that she can take as well as ones we can tick for prepared for our spell slots. So yeah, pretty cool. Always reference back to the spell casting booklet we had with a few issues ago. That'll give you more information on the spells. Yeah, pretty cool character sheet, nice new character, and one I could definitely see myself playing as. Right then, let's take a dive into issue 17, and yeah, then I'll give you my final thoughts as usual. So, diving in to issue 17, we've got our cover sticking to page 1. There. So, our adventure is Encounter 2, Mission Adventure 17, a day at the market. So, a very laid back sort of mission. Sage advice, we've got a page for the DM, which is all about integrating your scenes together. Then we have pages for spellcasting, focusing on buying and selling magic items. Character class creation, then we have an overview of the Druid class, as well as features of first and second level, but only part 1 for the second level, as we have quite a few abilities to cover. Then for lore, we have the Displacer Beasts, as well as the Emerald Enclave, as a faction to learn about. So issue 17, we have Axe Embedded Dice set, which is perfect. We also get a second level Druid character sheet for those wishing to switch to this character class. Then we got the D&D Beyond website there with QR code if you'd like to follow that. We also have, of course, all the regular information, customer service, back issues, subscriptions, etc. for other countries, and a note on binders there as well. So, starting things off, we have a page entitled Weaving Scenes Together. Sometimes it makes sense to split a party to complete different tasks, in which case it's important for a DM to know how to effectively cut between the two scenes. So, fantastic article, really loved reading this one. If you ask any experienced D&D player, they will often say the best way to survive is to don't split up. This, of course, isn't always possible. It is, of course, up to the DM how things go about. Will 2 of your party accidentally trigger a trap that seals off their part of the dungeon and they now have to relocate to the rest of the party? Or do perhaps even some adventurers trigger a trapdoor and are dropped down to the lower below? So there's various ways and reasons for splitting the party. It might be important to have a couple of people doing a information gathering while others do supply gathering, perhaps. Another one that mentions here is that perhaps you have been asked to protect a person's business from bandits, and yeah, you split up to watch over their 3 different shops just to make sure that it's not assailed by the bandits in question. So, how to handle separating your scenes. So yeah, make sure all players remain engaged, so don't split them up physically, keep them at the table, let them know what's going on. You do need to make sure they don't metagame by using information that they know about but their characters don't know about, which is of course key to any role-playing situation. So one of the benefits of running separate scenes at the same time is that each player gets some time in the spotlight. So taking inspiration here in the way TV shows and films will cut between scenes. You want to try to end each scene on a key piece of information, whether it's a secret being revealed, or perhaps even when a character has been dropped to 0 hit points, you cut away and go back to Group B. And then once you spend a bit of time with Group B, you can then cut back to Group A, etc. Finally then, bringing the group back together, it's a good way to have a nice easy segue to bring the scenes back to a single linear path. And yeah, so we can simply have, perhaps if we use our example of before, where a character has dropped to 0, perhaps they scream out as they do so. This has been within earshot of Party B, and so they follow the sound and eventually rejoin up with Party A. Moving on, so we have buying magic items. Players laden down with excess gold may want to spend some of it purchasing a magic item they can use for upcoming adventures. So, magic items, of course, are special and more valuable than mere gold and regular mundane items. Apart from potions of healing and other common items, it takes a lot of time and money to find a specific item. You need to invest time and money in getting the word about, and then you have to, of course, get the best deal. You might start off with a high value purse, but by the end of your recruitment drive, you could end up with not enough to buy the item you're seeking, which is not the best. You then, of course, have the DM decide where a ideal location would be for them to encounter the seller. Usually this is larger cities. Sometimes it could be as they cross paths on the road, etc. Or, as we'll find out in this issue's adventure, down at a local market. This is also often something done usually during adventures, so it doesn't take a direct effect in-game. So when it comes to items for sale, we have various tables. It does mention to take a look at the Dungeon Master's Guide, which has a full list of magic items that you can purchase. When it comes to buying an item, you have access to a specific table depending on the check total that is made. So for each 100 gold spent and each work week spent searching for the item, you get +1 to your roll. So you'll then roll your dice, and depending on the result, depends on the table that you can get. So for instance, we've rolled a 13, so we've passed the check 11 to 15. We'll roll 1d4 times on Magic Table C. If you don't have the Dungeon Master's Guide, use the simplified table below. So we got common items, uncommon, and common, and even rare. So yeah, pretty handy little table if you want to do things easier. And then we got a table all about price. And then you want to factor in complications. So complications might be simply, if you think of the scene from Disney Pixar Onward, where the second-hand weapon seller decides to change the price of 10 for the legendary sword up to 10,000. Yeah, that could be a complication you encounter. You could also have that perhaps the magic item in question is a fake and has no magical properties whatsoever. You could have somebody pinch it just as you're about to hand over your money and take the item into your own possession. It may even be a key important component to a cult's ritual. So yeah, it's never as easy as it seems. So we've covered buying, let's look at selling magic items. Selling unwanted items can lighten your load and earn you extra cash. If an ability check goes your way, that is. So, as with buying items, selling items isn't the easiest of things to do, even if it does seem straightforward. So again, you will need to, of course, do an ability check to see if you are able to sell off the item. Usually, certain cheaper common items can be sold quite easily at near enough every marketplace. Rarer ones might receive more at a larger city. So, first off, you need to find a buyer. In order to do this, you need to do the same as we had for buying items. You need to spend a week and 25 gold pieces to get the word out. Of course, this will be dependent on how easy it is to get the word out about the certain item, whether somebody's actually actively looking to purchase the item. When you do, you then have to, of course, pass a charisma persuasion check to determine the value that you are offered for it. Then we have a table down below, depending on the items itself, with a few example items here. Magic item offer, so again, another table. And again, we have these same sort of complications, whether perhaps, again, you've handed over the item, but just before the buyer gives you the money, they are murdered. And if you do take the money off their person, that's to be considered thieving, basically, and you'll give yourself a bit of a bad reputation. Maybe even a powerful villain insists that the character sell on the item for a little bit less than it's definitely worth, especially if they threaten them. So, moving on to our character creation page, we have a brand new class, the Druid, possibly one of my favourite classes. I definitely see myself as a bit of a Druid. So, these priests of ancient faiths of land, moon, sea and stars often become adventurers to protect the natural order of things. So, yeah, when you think of a Druid, probably the most straight to mind one would be Gandalf, but more pointing, I would say, towards Radagast the Brown of the Hobbit fame. So, yeah. You spend a lot of time in nature, your best friends tend to be animals, and yeah, you enjoy the simpler things, basically. So, part of being a druid is learning to preserve the balance between everything, the four main elements, of course, and the balance between nature and civilization. It's not to say that you have a pure hatred towards civilization. It's just that you believe that nature is, of course, slightly more important. But all in all, as long as the balance is kept, you're happy with the existence of others. Druids will often oppose elemental evil cults, as well as necromancers, aberrations such as beholders, mind flayers, and of course undeads such as zombies and vampires. You may even lead raids against such creatures if they are especially encroaching your territory. Finally, as I've already mentioned, druid beliefs, whether calling on the elemental forces of nature or emulating the creatures of the wild, druids are an embodiment of nature's resilience, cunning, and fury. They claim no mastery over nature. Instead, they see themselves as an extension of nature's will. So, yeah. Pretty cool little article. Finally, then, we have at the bottom all about creating the druid. So, when you are making your own druid, you want to consider what your character has chosen a close bond to nature. Perhaps they are raised as a druid after being abandoned in the depths of a forest. Perhaps they even have a dramatic encounter with spirits of nature, coming face to face with a giant eagle or direwolf and surviving the experience. So yeah, many different ways you can think about how to create your druid character. So, as we've got a new class, we can start taking a look at their features. So, first level features, we have very little to cover. The power of nature flows through a druid, allowing them to live off the land and protect the natural order. So, as we mentioned, druids will revere nature above all else. This gives them their ability to cast spells and other magical abilities. Many druids will pursue mystic or spiritual transcendent union of nature rather than a devotion to a divine entity. This is often referred to as Old Faith. Some druids will hold animalistic beliefs completely unconnected to any religion, and they believe that every living thing and every natural phenomenon has a spirit. Druids have their own type of language known as Druidic, so anyone who follows the Druid path will of course know this language. Anyone can discover this secret language on a DC 15 wisdom check, but without magic you can't exactly decipher its meaning. So, spellcasting ability. Druids who orient towards the natural world and animals will draw on divine essences of nature itself. They use wisdom as their spellcasting ability. So, yeah, harder for foes to resist their spells. So they have a spell attack modifier, which is their proficiency plus wisdom bonus. So in example of Zugar Shinoni here, she has a +2 proficiency bonus and +3 wisdom, giving her a spellcast modifier +5. Then we have spell save DC. So we've covered this before. Some spells must physically strike on a target, others will affect them in different ways, such as charm animal. So the example here is the party has set up camp and a bear has felt this as an encroachment on the territory. They charge the campsite. Shinoni then steps up and casts charm animal, rolling a 13 plus her modifier. She passes it, and the bear stops mid-charge and starts licking honey off her hand. So yeah, it then treats her and the rest of the party as friends. So cantrips and spells. Every new druid learns 2 cantrips of their choice, and each day a druid then prepares their list of spells that they are available for them to cast, choosing from the full list of first level spells. They can prepare a number of druid spells equal to their wisdom modifier plus their level. So Shinoni then generates 4 first level spells each day, so +3 for her wisdom, +1 for her level. Yeah, and check spellcasting 2 concentration. And moving on, we get second level part 1. As druids progress, they commit to a circle that matches their beliefs to help protect the natural world. So, yeah, this article covers pretty much what a druid will learn as they level up. So, a pre-generated character has dedicated themselves to the circle of the land, which will cover other circles in future articles. But yeah, a nice starting coverage here. So we look at the circle of land then. So this is made up of mystics and sages who safeguard ancient knowledge and rites through a vast oral tradition. These druids meet within sacred standing stones or ancient circles of trees to whisper primal secrets in Druidic. So yeah, often led by, of course, the oldest and wisest members. As a member of this circle, your magic is influenced by the land where you were initiated. So yeah, this could be the Arctic, coast, desert, forest, grassland, mountain, swamp, or even the Underdark. So you have the natural recovery ability. You now regain some of your magical energy by sitting in meditation and communing with nature. So during a short rest, you can recover expended spell slots equal to your level, rounding up. You also gain a bonus cantrip. So a circled land druid learns 1 additional cantrip of their choice. So Shinoni has chosen Infestation. So we'll explore more second level features, including Wild Shape in parts 2 and 3, which is actually in issue 18. So we don't get all the information straight away. So if you are collecting this week by week and you want to use Shinoni in this issue's adventure, you won't be able to make use of a lot of your abilities that are on your character sheet, as we haven't fully covered them. And then we've got the usual hit point increase box as well. Finally then, we've got 2 pages of lore before we hit our latest adventure. So first off, we take a look at the Displacer Beast, which is, of course, our creature standee that we got in our last delivery. So, 6-legged, tentacled panther with an illusionary double. How in the 9 hells do you fight that? So, at first you could mistake a Displacer Beast for a large panther with green eyes. But then you notice, of course, it has 6 limbs rather than 4, and a pair of 5-foot long tentacles extending from its front shoulders. So, yeah, not the nicest of creatures to come across. As mentioned, it's the one you often see is not the actual beast. But yeah, is actually a creature, is actually an illusion created by the creature. Displacer Beasts don't only hunt for food, they actually enjoy the thrill of the chase and will often toy with their prey before they kill them. Not, as I said, not the nicest of creatures to encounter. So we've got a tactical tip on how to deal with the Displacer Beast. So its most deadly ability is the one that gives it its name. Dispel magic won't be able to stop the illusionary creature from existing, but the only way you can actively stop it is by stunning the creature, paralyzing or even petrifying it. If all else fails, you could consider trying to reason with it. These are, while they can't speak, they are actually pretty capable and understanding creatures. But yeah, just try not to encroach on their territory too much. So we then finally have a page all about their origin. Displacer Beasts first appeared in the haunting twilight of the Feywild, but their predatory intelligence developed after they were caught, trained and selectively bred by members of the malevolent Unseelie Court, who used them to hunt unicorns and pegasi. However, the beasts eventually became too canny for their masters and broke free to roam the wild, until, that is, the benevolent fey folk of the realm hunted them with blink dogs, driving them largely out of the Feywild and into the material plane. So, finally then, we have our latest page all about the factions. So, Factions 8. This is the Emerald Enclave. Defenders of the natural world, adept at surviving in the untamed wilds of the Forgotten Realms, the Emerald Enclave can be found wherever civilization and nature collide. So, as I mentioned, probably one of my favourites of the factions, the Emerald Enclave, is all about those who seek the balance of nature with civilization. So, over 1,000 years, the Emerald Enclave rose from Vilhon Reach, a tributary of the Sea of Fallen Stars, in the centre of Faerun. So, yeah, they are naturally born survivors. Most of them tend to be druids, but there are quite a few others. So, to join the Enclave, characters who strive to respect the wilderness and are skilled in surviving may be sought out by the Emerald Enclave. They might hear instructions whispered to them on the wind or receive word from a bird or fox that their presence is requested. Those who join the order wear an article of emerald green clothing, which often bears the symbol, which is a stag's head. So, as I mentioned, those that are attuned with nature are often sought out by the Emerald Enclave, and you will never really feel alone or lost, as you have a deep connection with all things wild nature. There are 2 main goals for the Emerald Enclave: keeping the natural order of the world in balance and destroying threats to that balance. You may well think that the Emerald Enclave opposes cities and states, but this is not the case. They try to keep civilization and wilderness from destroying one another. So yeah, it's integral to keep the balance. Finally then, at the bottom, we got a little bit about their headquarters, which is the High Forest. Within the Desarian Valley, far to the east of the city of Neverwinter, stands the High Forest. This vast and ancient place is home to the treants, owlbears, and unicorns, as well as beasts that have evolved to enormous sizes, such as bears as big as sheds, and stags with antlers the width of wagons. And deep within this wood is Shadowtop Cathedral, which is the base of residence for the Emerald Enclave. Moving on to this issue's adventure, so Adventure 2 Encounter 17, A Day at the Market. So, planned for second level characters, takes 1 to 2 hours. First off then, our encounter overview, the party visits Neverwinter Market and gets to spend their hard-earned gold. After some shopping, they encounter a Displacer Beast that was mysteriously released from a beast tamer's cage. After dealing with the situation, the characters can investigate the scene and locate the person responsible for the sabotaged cage. The encounter goals. This encounter starts with an open-ended structure, giving the party agency to browse the market at their own pace. Then, when the Displacer Beast attacks, their goal is to stop it from killing people in the streets. So, yeah, you basically start things off by having a simple bit of a peruse around the shops. So, we got locations. We have Dorvac Versut. We have the Mercurial Expedition, which sells potions and elixirs. We have the Arcane Arsenal, which sells enchanted items. And spell scrolls as well. Then after that, the beast escapes. And so we have to deal with our Displacer Beast enemy. So there's the investigation to find out what's happened. And of course, developments. The adventurers face a choice if they choose to confront Adina, who is the Druid here. She casts Entangle on the group and tries to escape. Alternatively, the party can convince Adina that she is at fault. As an idealist, Adina cares more about wildlife than humanoids, and in fact, she makes clear early in this conversation. So yeah, plenty of fun to be had at the market. And then we got our stat blocks, so we have the Druid as we've mentioned. We got the Displacer Beast, so we can finally make use of that Displacer Beast standee. We have a guard, and then we got a article at the back covering magic items that you can pick up for sale. Right, I'll bring everything back in and I'll give you my final thoughts on issue 17. So then we have issue 17 of Dungeons and Dragons Adventurer. And yeah, I thought it was a really good issue. We got a few new pages to help us make use of downtime. So we got the buying and selling of magic items. We also got how to weave a scene together, which is very integral for our DMs. Other than that, we got our first look at Druid and their abilities, which is very important, as of course we've got our brand new character, which is a Druid. So Shinani there, pretty cool character. Definitely inspired me to maybe make my own Druid character. I think I might have to go on D&D Beyond after I film this video. The dice, as I said, pretty fun little set, actually. Yeah, I really should stop on the puns. But yeah, fun little set. Nice little tiny axe on the inside of these nice mystical sort of blue dice. Really nice. And yeah, character sheet for Shinani there was pretty nice inclusion as well. It was actually part of the magazine, so no longer are they being included as separate components. They're going to be pages of the magazine, which could, I don't know, maybe interfere a bit with the value of the issue. Personally, I'd have preferred level 1 character, so we could have gone back and done some of the earlier missions with a Druid if we wanted to. Yeah, other than that, it's an average issue. I'm probably going to give it a 4 out of 5. Good content. good free items. The dice and the character sheets are always welcome, of course. But I do think it lacks that it hasn't given us a level 1 version of the character, so we can't really get to grips with the Druid class on an easy level setting. We are sort of thrown into the mid-level or level 2 Druid. We are, of course, as I mentioned in my last video, soon we're going to be leveling up to level 3. So I expect us to have a level 3 Druid at some point. Plus we're going to have, of course, pages for level 3 abilities for all our characters soon. So we've got some good stuff to look forward to. And I like that it's sort of drip feeding us. I fully expect we'll get... actually, I think that we are getting 3 characters in one issue with their level 3 abilities, and then in the next issue after that we get another 3 characters with their level 3 abilities, with our final characters getting level 3 abilities the issue after that, which is pretty cool. It's nice that we're not being having everything pushed down our throats, I suppose is a way of thinking of it. It's nice that we can take our time to read through each issue and each section. But yeah, let me know what you thought of it in the comment section down below. Did you enjoy these little dice? Or are you, like a lot of people, getting a little fed up with dice? I know we're getting a really cool looking set in issue 34 when we're into our green dice set. They're really nice. It's got like a metal banding around the dice, and it's got swords on or weapons on the high value. They look really cool. And yeah, actually all the dice from issue 31 to 34 do look quite nice. Issue 31 itself has a premium looking set, but they are actually clear, which is kind of nice. Then we have a jade-like set, which again look really nice. And then we have that marbled green and black effect ones as well. But that's a way off. We are still only on issue 17, and we still have a lot of stuff to get in the ways of the issue 20 dice. So plenty more of blue dice yet to come, and then we'll eventually start green dice as we hit level 3. So, as I said, drop me a comment down below, let me know how you're getting on with your collection, and until next time, thank you all very much for watching, and keep rolling those crits.